What's up, everybody? My name is Jeremy Duran, and this is the No Holds Podcast. Man, this is going to be an awesome time tonight. I got my good friend, Pastor Chris DeLay. I also got another good friend of mine, Thomas Yokum. What's up, guys?
What's up?
Y'all excited?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Y'all ready?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. You're scared, nervous?
I'm very nervous, honestly.
Yes.
I never know what kind of questions Jeremy's going to ask.
Yeah, no, it's going to be good, man. It's going to be fun. I love the way this setting was last time. I don't know if y'all watched the last one, but I thought it was very good. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Chris.
Well, I don't introduce myself as Pastor Chris, but that is what I do. Pastor is not who I am, but it is what I do. And I'm married. Been married for 3 years to my beautiful wife, Gabby. Met her at Bible college. We met in 2017, and we don't have any kids. We got 3 dogs, and that's enough for us right now.
Any on the way?
No, none on the way, and I'm okay with that. Just a little bit more about myself, I guess. I've been a Christian my whole life. God changed my life on a missions trip to El Salvador in 2014, and since then, I've been chasing after God ever since, with no holds, just like the podcast. Holding nothing back, and it is since I made that decision to start actually chasing God instead of just going with the flow with God. My life has been so full of happiness, full of joy. I've seen so much blessing from being faithful to God because He's so faithful to me. And so I'm just thankful. And because of my relationship with God, I'm able to, you guys are a part of that because you were my youth leader in high school and stuff, and made a big impact on my life. Thomas for long time, basically family. So, man, and God's just so good, and He's been with me the whole every step of the way, whether I was on track or not. He never left me, and I was just so good. It's not even about me. It's definitely about God, and that's what I want. My life is that on my tombstone, I wanted to say he chased after God with everything he had.
Dang. That's good.
Yeah.
That was actually a question I was going to ask later.
Oh, good. See, there's my answer.
There you go. Love it, man. What about you, Thomas? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name's Thomas. I'm 31 years old. I'm an insurance agent here in town. I've always been a part of ministry in some sense or some way. I have a lot of friends that are pastors and youth pastors, and I don't know what to say. I never know what to say when they ask me to say something about myself.
You're a good guy.
I love people. I'm very outgoing. I have no kids. I'm not married. I have a roommate that's like a child, though, so I help raise him.
Not married, single.
Yeah.
Did y'all hear that?
Gosh.
Ladies? Are you looking?
Not in Seminole.
Okay. So if you're in Seminole, you're out.
Yeah.
That's it. Don't even try. Yeah, man. No, that's awesome. And I've known you guys for a long time, and it's just been an amazing friendship that I've had with both of you. And I love it. I love seeing you guys grow. Like you said, I've seen you grow from you. It's just, and with Thomas, I don't even know how long I've known you, but I know you and Ben used to prank my house.
2008, I think.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh. I don't know if any of you guys got pranked, but not even that. Okay, if you decide to mess with Thomas,
just don't
do it. Just don't do it, because he will get you back in the worst way.
Yeah.
So don't do it. Don't do it, guys. All right, man. I got some questions for y'all. Of course, you already answered this. Is how would you want your loved ones to remember you?
But yeah, like I said, on my tombstone, I wanted to say that chase after God with everything that I had. So I want that kind of to be my legacy, is that every step of the way, I was chasing God, chasing after the things of God, and getting as many people to come with me as possible. And it's not about me. That was a hard lesson to learn a long time. I played basketball in college, and I learned quickly that it is not all about me. And man, whenever I learned that lesson, a lot of things started opening up for me. Man, it gave me a lot of perspective. Like, it's so much better. Just like Jesus came to serve, not to be served.
Yeah.
And life is so much more fulfilling whenever you're serving something. When you're serving a purpose, serving God, like it's not about you. Like, you can't do it all yourself. And so don't try. It's fleeting. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's worthless.
Yeah.
In a sense, because at the end of the day, it's empty. At the end of the bottle, you just have an empty bottle. After you poured out all that you've given, if you're not getting filled back up, with purpose, with life that God can give, then man, it's just empty. And that breaks my heart to see people that are doing that kind of thing, like chasing something that whatever. And so, yeah, that's what I want to be remembered as. That I was chasing God with everything that I had.
What about you, Thomas?
That I love God, but I also love people.
Yeah.
I would want to be remembered as somebody that, I don't know, I don't want to be remembered as somebody that carried a legacy of love, I guess. Mm-hmm. Just like wherever I went, whatever I was doing, that I was nice, that I loved people, that I cared about people, and that I kind of left nobody behind.
Yeah. Heck yeah, man. Those are some awesome answers. I love it. What is the best advice you've ever received? We'll start with Thomas.
I don't know off the top of my head.
No?
I'll circle back.
Oh, man. Circle back.
That's all.
Okay, we're back.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
No, if you can't think of one, okay, here's another one. What is the worst advice you've ever received?
Oh, man.
That was hard, too.
See, I wouldn't necessarily say it was like somebody sat me down and said, "Let me give you some advice," but it's more the worst advice being like, it doesn't matter, so who cares? Like that kind of mentality of like it's like God is worthless. What you're spending your time on is worthless. Mm-hmm. That kind of thing. Like the question why is a big thing for me. Like to just question everything for the sense of questioning it rather than for the sense of learning. Like that kind of mentality is where like that's just. I was around some stuff like that, and it's just, man, it'll take you down the wrong road so fast, and then you get tore up by it. So,
yeah, no, that's true. That's good. That's real good. Tommy?
I think I always hate hearing, like, people are going to let you down, and, like, you should be looking for that. Or I think growing up, I heard that a lot. Like, people would tell me that, oh, well, they let you down, but people are going to let you down, so just expect that. And I feel like I don't know, for me growing up, it put me in a spot where, like, I would look towards the bad things of people and expect to be let down, rather than just to see people for how awesome they are and to see the potential in them.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. That's good. That's real good. So what did y'all think? Any kind of good advice yet?
Man, good advice. Circle back.
I've had a lot of good advice, but it's hard to just think of like one good one.
All right, that's okay. Well, here's this. What about if you can go back and talk to your teenage self? What advice would you give him?
For me, what I would tell myself is don't be a punk. Like, man, like I said, it was a good lesson to learn about. Jesus came to serve, not to be served. So like, just humbling. You just stay humble. Like I was so prideful and like so arrogant, and that was a battle that I'm still dealing with. Like, so yeah, you ain't as cool as you think you are. That's what I would tell myself. You ain't all that.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good to realize that though. That's real good.
I think for me as a teenager, I always wanted to fit in. I was the only black guy in my grade. I was one of like 6 in my school. So like I'd always compare myself to other people, or like I'd always try as hard as I could to fit in.
Mm.
But I would go back in time and tell myself when I was a teenager not to just that it's great to be different. There's actually it actually makes you stand out in a good way to be different.
Yeah.
So I would tell myself just to quit comparing myself to everybody else.
Yeah,
That's good.
Yeah, for sure. I'd say the same thing, because I used to compare myself a lot too, and so it's good.
That's good.
That's the same thing.
Are you at peace when you don't get what you want?
Depends what it is.
Yeah,
Sometimes, heck
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's the question I heard.
It depends on what it is. I
Depends
guess.
on what it is.
Yeah. Like, if I don't get a Dr. Pepper, man, I'm not at peace.
No, it's just a question I heard today, and I was like, man,
Yeah.
that's true. Because sometimes it's like,
Well,
do I need the stuff that I want all the time? Like, no. Like,
Yeah.
I think I can be fine without it.
yeah. Well, when you think of, like, you kind of got to ask yourself, at the same time, should kind of ask yourself the question, what is peace? What does peace mean to you then?
Yeah.
Because, like I said, like, if a Dr. Pepper brings me peace, like, that's some shallow peace.
Yeah.
You know,
need
that,
Jesus.
yeah, for sure. And Jesus being the Prince of Peace, if you have Jesus, then you should always be at peace.
Yeah. There you go.
So it's not what you have or don't have. It's if you have or don't have Jesus. It's
Man.
him being the Prince of Peace. So
Okay. I like that. What is the biggest risk you have ever taken? Either one, it don't matter who goes first. But.
I think for me, just off the top of my head, the biggest risk for me was choosing to go to Bible college out of high school. And that doesn't seem like a huge risk, but at the time, like I said, part of my testimony, I went on a mission trip right before my senior year in 2014. And at the time, I was really trying to get a basketball scholarship to go play in college. I had a couple really small, like NAIA schools looking at me, and that's what I thought I wanted to do. I thought, God gave me this skill and desire to play basketball, and that's what I need to do with my life. And then I'm going to, get a degree, then go into a career, and and that's what God has for my life. And I was happy with that. I was somewhat content with that. All the time, knowing what God really had for me, I was just kind of running away from that. So,
No, that's good.
Yeah.
Because you're good at basketball. You won a national championship
Yeah.
in Bible college, right?
So going to Rhema, it was it wasn't normal.
Yeah.
So like my coach at the time, he was awesome, best coach I ever had, and he was just like, really, like you want to go. And even whenever I decided to go to Rhema, I wasn't going to Rhema to play basketball. I didn't even know they had a team at the time. For a few months, whenever I had made that decision, and so I was going to go to Rhema. I was going to give up basketball for that. Thank God, that they had a team, and we ended up winning a national championship and stuff. And so that was awesome.
Yeah.
But that was probably the biggest risk. But from that risk has come the greatest reward.
Yeah.
Me being here in Seminole, and even at the time, I was just like, I don't want to go to Seminole. I don't want to go back to Seminole. But man, I am so happy, and you'll never be as happy. You'll be your happiest in the perfect will of God. That's where you will be your happiest, and that's where I'm at. Like, because just a continual yes to God is that's what God's looking for. Is just you being faithful to Him, faithful to be led by Him, and His Holy Spirit and the Word. And so yeah, like I said, it's not necessarily about the risk, but it's about the reward.
Yeah.
What's on the because with God, it's never a risk. Whenever you're being led by God, it's not a risk. It may seem like it in the natural, but really, it's His plan. There's blessing. There's great things on the other side of that.
Yeah.
And it just takes that obedience to walk that out.
Yes, sir. Amen to that. That's good. That's real good. How about you, Thomas?
My 20s, I feel like we're full of risk, especially. I moved to Tulsa. I didn't want to go to Bible school at all. Then the Lord told me to go there. But then after Bible school, I moved to Georgia for a year and a half and helped one of my best friends start a church there. It didn't really work out that well for me. So then I ended up moving back to Seminole with kind of nothing. I had no vehicle. Like, I didn't really exactly know where I was going to stay. I ended up moving back in with my parents here, the Powers, and you know, I don't know. There's a lot of risks I've taken. Some have been really good, and some have paid off, and some have not been good. But I think either way, I'm glad that I took those risks, I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like living in a small town, it gets very kind of like you get complacent here very easily. And I always just appreciate the people that take the risk, whether it could be good or bad. Like, I feel like it's a learning experience either way.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. That's some good stuff, too. Love it. All right. You got to choose one, and you got to tell me why. If you had a choice in your life, would you go back 5 years into the past, 5 years into the future, or stay where you're at right now? You got to choose one. You got to tell me why.
Stay where I'm at.
Stay where you're at?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't want to go back to the past because I don't see the point in that, really. I mean, unless you're memorizing lotto numbers,
Right.
that would help you out.
That's
But
a good answer right there.
I've already lived my past, so I
Yeah.
don't want to go relive it.
Okay. No, that's
And-
good.
I'm excited for my future, but I wouldn't want to rush it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Same thing?
Yeah, same thing. I'm really happy with where I'm at.
Yeah.
Even though, like you said, I've already lived my past. Even if I was going to make some changes and stuff, well, those changes would redirect, my future in a sense. I wouldn't just relive everything that I did if I went to the past. So it would be a waste of time.
No, that's good.
So
I like that.
Yeah.
All right. Who is your hero and why?
Well, for me, my dad is my hero. Man, yeah, he's just my hero. He's been there from day one. Well, not just my dad, my parents in general, mom and dad. My dad is, he's been there. He's been such an encouragement in my life. He is the embodiment of faithfulness and love. Man, I don't want to get emotional, but
It's okay to cry, man. Real men cry.
That's right. I do
Real men
believe
cry.
in that, but I think my dad might watch this. I don't want him to see me cry about this. He'll give me a hard time about it. I've seen him go through some things, and seen our family go through some stuff, and for him to be where he's at, man, he's just amazing. He's such an amazing man, and I don't say that just because he's my dad. If I wasn't his son, I would still think the same thing, because he is just, man, he's an amazing person, and you can edit this out, but I want to be just like him when I grow up, because he was such a great father to me and my brother and sister. So yeah, I can write. I'm trying to find the words to say to express it, but man, he really means a lot to me. Does, and I know he's meant a lot to a lot of other people, and because of his example, he makes me want to be, and I don't say this arrogantly, I want to be better than him because of how great he is.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And I know he would say the same thing. I want you to be greater. He's told all of me, my brother and sister, that too. I want you to do better than me. He didn't live such a do such great things, or kind of pave a way in a sense for nothing for us to just stay, wherever he stops.
Yeah.
We're supposed to keep going, and so yeah.
Yeah. Your dad.
I would say if I was going to talk to him, I would just say thank you paving the way for us so that we can keep going.
Love it, man. Do you feel like you're the favorite child?
Absolutely. Who's in Seminole?
Hey, okay.
Absolutely.
Those are fighting words.
And I only say that because Ben and Emily aren't here.
Yeah. No.
Realistically, it's probably Emily, and me and Ben definitely agree on that.
No, your dad is very amazing, man. He has done such a wonderful job at what he does, but not only that, but just helping others. You know, he's helped my wife and I a whole lot too. So yeah, I can definitely see that for sure, man. What about you, Thomas?
I'd say Johnny and Michelle Powers.
Yeah.
I just love their heart for people. I feel like most people don't really see the extent of their heart for people, but living with them, like Michelle would be counseling somebody till like 1, 2 in the morning sometimes, and Boss, he doesn't really hear that well, so he doesn't really love to talk, so he wouldn't be counseling you till 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he's a great guy. He really taught me a lot about being a man and especially about integrity and honor. And the way he lives his life, he backs that up completely. Like not just in the spotlight, but behind the scenes too. And it's just been amazing to get to know them, and the way they take people in, and the way they just invite you in, I think is amazing.
Yeah, definitely. Like I was gonna say your dad, Boss, but he's like a dad.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I remember going to Honduras, and he called me son. I have not heard son come out of a man's voice since I was 9 years old. And man, I bawled. Like, it was that touching to me. Like, dang, it felt so good, and he meant it.
Mm-hmm.
Even to this day, it's like, how's it going, son? Like, man, it feels so good to hear that.
Yeah.
But I call him Pops. I know you guys, you call him Boss, but to me, I was like, man, he's my Pops. Like, that's Pops to me.
Yeah.
Like, he has done such an amazing job, too, just with you. Didn't you have him in youth or no?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right? So, and you grew up with him, so it's just like, wow, man, like, this dude makes such an impact. And it could just be him just going over there giving you a hug. That's all you need. And that's the way he shows his love. So he's amazing, both of them, him and Michelle, both amazing. Same with his dad, with Miss Daphne. Love Miss Daphne too, man. She's awesome.
You got to watch it with Boss though, 'cause just as much as he'll bump you up, he will cut you down.
Oh, dude, I know.
Of course, lovingly.
Oh,
but man,
my
he's quick
gosh.
with it.
Or beat the crap out of you.
Yeah. He made fun of me the other day on Sunday. No, not Sunday. Tuesday, Word of Spirit conference. He's making fun of my nose. I know it's big, and he was just like, I haven't seen you in a while, man.
Funny story about Boss. I have a hoodie in my closet right now, and it has some flowers on it. It has it's a black hoodie, has some flowers on it, which when I bought it was in style and everything. I wore it to church one time, and Johnny said, "Oh, I didn't know you were cross-dressing." That's the last time I've ever worn that hoodie. I've never worn it again.
Oh man, yeah.
He put me on blast right then. I was just like, all right. I had a tank top under it. I would have went to the bathroom and took it off.
Man, oh man.
Living with him, we watched Dancing with the Stars came on one time. The boss said, I could do that. He moonwalked across the entire living room.
Oh man, that'd have been
That's
so
the
awesome.
best thing I've ever seen.
That's
That'd have been awesome.
Yeah.
Man,
He's great.
dang it, man. That'd have been awesome to see.
Oh, yeah.
Love it. Love it. All right, man. In here, I have some topics. Whatever you choose, that's what we'll talk about. I really don't even know what's in here, but I know there's some in here. I'm just gonna go ahead and shake it up real quick. Shake it up.
I got one. Are we looking at them?
Yeah, go ahead and look at them. All right, what'd you get, Chris?
Sex.
Sex. All right, what about you, Thomas?
Mental health.
Mental health.
There you go.
Wow. Well,
Big topics.
yeah, those are some pretty interesting topics. So What you want to talk about first?
When you say sex, is this like male-female sex?
Male-female sex, any kind of sex, really. It can be anything.
It's a very broad topic.
That's a broad topic.
Yeah, and I did one with Peyton a while back. It's kind of like maybe my second episode.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if y'all remember that one.
I don't think so.
We talked about sex.
Mhm.
But to me, like, we're both married. You're married. You're single. So it's kind of get different perspectives,
Yeah,
you know. So, like, when I talk, like, when we bring up sex, like, yes, like, is it marriage thing? Is it before marriage? Because people do it before marriage. If you're married, spice it up a little bit. Can we bring in, toys, role play? It's just kind of whatever, man. Just whatever y'all want to talk about.
No
So-
holes, just got listen.
Yeah. Like, and the only reason why is because you can talk to somebody and be like, yes, it's okay to bring in a toy, or it's okay to kind of spice it up, maybe dress up, kind of role play. Others may not agree with that.
Mhm.
So that's why this thing can kind of go anywhere.
Yeah.
So, what you think, man? What you think about sex?
Well, I mean, straight up sex in the context of marriage is amazing.
Yeah,
It's exactly what God intended, and so whenever you're in line with what God intended, He did not create anything for destruction, for disaster, for hurt, or for pain.
Mm-hmm.
So, sex inside of marriage is perfect because God doesn't create anything imperfect.
Yeah,
So, and marriage, God created marriage to be between a man and a woman committed to God and each other through marriage in covenant together.
yeah.
And really anything outside of that, you're not in God's playground.
Mm-hmm.
And straight up, that's sin.
Yeah.
According to the Bible, according to God. And so that's something that is extremely clear in the Bible, and extremely clear I say extremely clear. It should be extremely clear with Christianity about who God is and what He created. So, yeah, sex is great in the right context.
Yeah,
In the right context and what God created it to be.
that's good.
It's perfect.
That's good. What about you, Thomas?
I mean, I'm 31. I'm still a virgin. So,
There's nothing wrong with that.
yeah,
That's good.
yeah.
That's good.
I mean, I've had chances, but no.
We don't need to hear about that.
Yeah. No, I think sex should definitely still be reserved for marriage. I know there's a huge movement going on where like people are talking about, well, I grew up in purity culture and how harmful it was that you couldn't wait. But I'm here to let you know that you can wait. It is hard. I just think I agree with Chris. In the right context, it's great. The way I've always learned it was that it's like a fire, and if you put it in a fireplace in the right context, it's great. But outside of a fireplace, it can burn your house down.
Like on the couch, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
You can burn the house on fire. Yeah, that's good.
Sex ed came and told us that at junior high, and I always remembered it.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's good. That's
yeah.
good. Okay, so what about like bringing in toys? You're married, Chris. How is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing?
Oh man, if y'all know me, y'all know I hate talking about this kind of stuff.
And hey, that's why you got the topic.
This is so funny.
That's why you got the
man.
topic. And I know that this is it can be kind of uncomfortable. It's good.
I'm gonna somewhat plead the fifth, because me and Gabby have been married for 3 years, and I want to respect Gabby, and I don't want to share too much or overshare. I've learned that. For sure, you never overshare. Say something without permission, that kind of thing. Not that I'm whipped or anything, but I'm respecting Gabby, and I'm just gonna go back to in the right context, it's good.
Yeah.
In the right context, what God created is perfect.
What about you, Thomas?
I mean, I'm not married, but I feel like it all comes down to communication.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all can communicate openly and effectively, and decide between yourselves what you would want to do or not want to do. I think that's what marriage is about, is communication. And if one decides that you want to do it and the other decides not to, I think that you should respect each other's wishes.
Mm-hmm. No, that's good, man. That's communication.
Yeah.
Communication is very key when it comes, like, when you're in marriage, man.
Yeah.
Especially, with sex. Like, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't even have to be about sex.
Not just like anything. In
Anything,
marriage.
yeah.
Man, it's all comes down to communication.
Yeah.
Not just what is said, but how it's said. Like, when you're saying something, like timing and stuff. Yeah.
No, definitely, man. It's
Exactly right.
all about communication, man. So the answers are awesome. Like, I don't feel like there's anything wrong or anything bad that you said. Like, I love what you said. You respect Gabby. That's good. That's very good. I know when it comes to porn, you allow that in your relationship or no?
No.
That's good. That's good because I know I've talked to people that say, well, they allow it in the relationship because it's them two.
Yeah.
You know, like, well, no, I think it's a good thing. To me, I'm like, no, that's not a good thing.
I'm not married, but I've seen a lot of marriages collapse because of that issue.
Yes, yeah.
And people my age are on their second, third marriage. But one thing that I've always told people is if you allow it, it's not going to get smaller. It's going to get bigger.
Just keep feeding that monster. Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good. Masturbation. What are y'all's thoughts on that? Like, as in, man or whatever, woman. Like, what is your thoughts on that?
I mean, it opens the door to lust, and especially, single. It again opens the door to lust, opens the door to a lot of sin, a lot of things that God did not intend. God is not the author of or the creator of that kind of stuff. God did give us sexual desires, but He also gave us a way to fulfill those sexual desires in the context of marriage.
Yeah.
So even in marriage, in the context of marriage, it's not. You don't need it.
Yeah.
So and again, it opens that door to sin. And like Thomas said, like once you feed it, just this whatever, then eventually it's just going to turn into something big and you can't control. Then you really need some help, and then it starts affecting people around you, and and if you've ever been in that, like it's hell. Like you feel choked, like trapped, and because I dealt with that in high school. Like it's just one of those things where I feel like every man has probably dealt with that.
Oh yeah,
and so it's just like
and nobody
wants to be there. Honestly,
no, nobody, and then not even that. It's like, when you're in that place, it's hard for you to open up because it's like, okay, what are they going to think of me?
Yeah,
like
the shame comes into it. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, because realistically, everybody knows that's wrong deep down, and it's not. But taking God outside of it, this isn't right.
Yeah,
this isn't right. It may feel good, but this isn't right.
Yeah,
and that's what Satan distorts is whenever we're led by our feelings. Then we can try to justify it. Whenever we're led by God, our feelings don't justify anything. Those desires, they don't justify anything.
Yeah.
And it's always being led by God, by the Word of God. So,
no, that's good.
In the context of marriage, like I said, I just kind of keep coming back to that. In the context of marriage, what God created is perfect. And you don't need anything else.
Yeah.
You don't need anything else outside of that context.
No, that's true. That's true. Like, when it comes to being intimate, like, people would think, okay, it's got to be a sexual thing. No. Being intimate with my wife doesn't have to be sexual. It could just be us just communicating, opening up, like, babe, hear my heart. Like, this is what I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
Like, that right there it kind of goes a long way. Like, it goes a whole lot, like a long, long way to me. But
sure.
I don't know. What about you, Thomas?
I mean, I've never met another guy that has not masturbated. So I feel like it's kind of, honestly, it's healthy in a way. Like, especially through puberty, like you're getting to know your body. Like you're not gonna not do it. Basically, like every guy is going to. I'm not sure. I can't say every guy. Every guy I've ever talked to is going to.
Yeah.
But I think it's important, even at a young age, to set boundaries. Like as far as like, especially like if you have to watch something to do it, or because that leads to an addiction to pornography. And I mean, I don't know. I feel like everybody's kind of like different. Some have like everybody has like different sex drives and like
Yeah, and you talked about, okay, watching something to do it.
Mhm.
Okay, what if, and I know you're not married, but you are. What if, like your wife said, okay, it's okay to do it as long as you're thinking of me. Then what? To me, okay, I'm like,
Gabby would never say that.
well, yeah, I know that. Okay, like, and I know my wife, I mean, she wouldn't say that either.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
there
that's
are
what
people,
I'm
there
saying.
are men out there
Yeah.
that are like, it's okay because I'm thinking of my wife when I do it. But are you?
Well, if
Like-
somebody ever said that to me, I would say you're lying to me. You're not,
Yeah.
because in that moment, your eyes are what you're focusing on, and not your thoughts. Does that make sense? Like what you see is Lord right then. That's what you're focused on, and so that you're lying.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you're lying.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
I think if you can't go a week without it, then there's a problem.
Oh,
Exactly.
yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, and really, that would break my heart to know of somebody in that situation. I don't know if anybody in that situation where the spouse allows that, or think of me, whatever. That would break my heart because, like you said, intimacy, man, that just breaks intimacy up, and that opens the door to like jealousy, to strife, to so much stuff that again God didn't intend.
Yeah.
If you stay in the context of God's perfect creation of sex, then you're not going to be hurt by it.
Mhm.
You won't be, you won't feel used by it.
Yeah.
Because that's a big thing too. Like sex before marriage, a lot of people just feel used. Specifically, like females, they feel used because typically that's what a man wants, is just to get to that point and then thank you, see you later. And that breaks my heart because that's not what God intended. And
Yeah.
There's so much heartbreak in that, and so much abuse. That is straight up abuse.
Mhm.
In that sense that you were just used.
No, and that's crazy because I know when you're younger, when I was younger, it's like, oh yeah, man, I got me some of that.
Yeah.
I got me some of that. Back then it was, oh, that's my boy,
Yeah, it's celebrated.
And then now you grown up, I have a daughter, I have daughters,
Yeah.
and it's like, no, you ain't touching my daughter.
Yeah.
Like, not at all. So to know like how guys are, and I'm pretty sure they still are like that.
Oh yeah.
So it's just kind of like, dude, if you only knew, man, just the wait.
Yeah.
Wait till you're married. Wait.
Yeah.
So much better. I'm telling you, like, it's just like the intimate, the connection, everything, man. Like, it's just, you're one
Yeah.
with your wife, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I love it.
And to kind of speak to somebody that's maybe dealing with this, where they're like, I want to be married, I have these desires. Lean on the Word of God and the Spirit of God. That's what I would say to you. Just lean on Him, because in those moments, the Bible says that you're never, because you could be, have the argument, well, I was tempted and I have these desires. God gave me these desires, so I need to do something with them. Not necessarily, because really outside of the context of marriage, it's sin, and which comes from temptation, from the enemy. And so whenever you're tempted, the Bible says that you will not be tempted outside of your means. God will always provide a way out, always.
Yeah.
So if you're conscious of looking for that way out that God's providing, then you're not going to trip up, you're not going to stumble. And if anybody has, outside of the context of marriage or whatever, there is no shame, there is no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. All things are made new whenever you accept Jesus. All things. So
Yeah.
it doesn't. Your past doesn't matter. Your desires don't matter. Anything like that. You are a brand new creation. That doesn't mean your thoughts change immediately. That's why we have the Word of God to transform our minds, to renew our minds.
Yeah.
But but yeah, that's what I would say to somebody is like, man, there's no shame in any mistakes once you accept Jesus. God doesn't look at that anymore.
Yeah, no, that's
He
good.
doesn't look at you anymore. So you aren't your past. You're not, those desires. You're not. God isn't withholding anything from you. That kind of thing. So God has somebody for everybody.
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah. Do y'all remember y'all's sex talk? Like say
Like with
with your dad.
oh, okay.
Do you remember that?
I
Yeah.
I don't really remember word for word. I do remember really a conversation kind of like what we're having of like sex outside of marriage is not what God intended, and basically here's the pros and cons of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I say pros and cons of waiting, for marriage. The cons being, if you don't do that, if you do decide to have premarital sex or whatever, there's a lot of heartbreak in it. There's a lot of commitment issues. There's a lot of things that the enemy will open a door to. You're opening a door to the enemy because of these, and it wasn't like, this is the male body, this is the female body. It wasn't nothing like that, but it was like waiting until marriage, and then also it was also kind of wrapped up in dating. Why dating is important. The purpose of it, and like the boundaries, setting boundaries, that kind of thing. So it wasn't a sex ed class.
Yeah.
If you know my dad, he gets uncomfortable talking like this sometimes too. So like, it wasn't nothing like. There's a lot of things that kind of had to learn for myself. And it wasn't in the healthiest ways, but it is what it is. And I'm just, like I said at the beginning, I'm just so thankful for God.
Yeah.
Because God's mercy, man, His grace covers. It doesn't ever. God's grace doesn't exfoliate. It doesn't bring anything to the surface. It just covers. And I'm just so thankful for Jesus covering, any mistake.
Yeah. Definitely. What about you, Thomas?
My sex
Remember
talk?
your sex talk?
Yeah, kind of. I just remember it was awkward.
Yeah.
That's all I
What was
really
it like?
remember. Huh?
Yeah. What
It was like the birds and the bees talk, kind of, but like I don't even really all the way remember. I just remember feeling so uncomfortable.
Mm.
And like I'd rather be anywhere else but there in that moment.
No. I remember mine, and I don't know why I remember it so clearly, but we were at my grandma's house. It's pretty much like I had my uncles there, some aunts there, cousins and stuff. And my mom had told my aunt, hey, you need to talk to Jeremy about sex. She goes over there, she pulls me to the side, and she was like, okay, let me tell you about the birds and the bees. I said, okay, hold on. I already know about sex. And she's like, what? It's like, I'm not a virgin. She's like, what? I'm not a virgin. She's like, so she called my uncle. My uncle went over there, and I love my uncle, man. He is, I love him to death. Actually, I love him to life. His sex talk was, make sure you strap twice and have fun. That was it.
Wow.
So it's very different.
Yeah.
The culture.
Yeah.
Not even that. It's just of how we're raised is very different when it comes to sex, And now I know the outcome. I know what could happen.
Yeah.
I know the truth. So it's like I know both. I know what can happen. Like I know both sides, I guess.
Yeah.
I didn't have a dad. Didn't have a dad to teach me about sex and teach me about anything.
Yeah.
So I had uncles. And kind of how it went.
Yeah.
Back then, I was like, dang, okay. Now I think about it, I'm like, that's not good.
Yeah.
But that's how it was for me.
Gabby had a friend growing up that she was close with. She grew up in Germany, and she had a friend that they were European, obviously, living in Germany, and so her friend's parents celebrated her having sex when she was 16, 15, and celebrated that.
Wow.
And would ask her questions like Gabby's friend questions like, have y'all had sex yet? Have y'all done anything yet? and in a form of celebration,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that. So it's out there.
Yeah.
It's out there for sure.
Yeah,
And so
definitely.
but just because it's out there and just because everybody else is doing it, that does not make it right.
Yeah,
It doesn't make it right.
that's true.
So
That's true. That's definitely
I'm
true.
glad you added that perspective. That is, you know, looking back, it's a
Yeah.
little twisted. you
Yeah,
know,
it
like
is.
how
I
happened.
mean, it's like I wouldn't tell my son that.
right.
You know, like, or not even my daughter is like, oh, make sure you strap twice. You know.
Yeah.
Heck no. Like, I'm gonna slap that dude. Like, seriously, don't even think
Yeah.
about
Don't
that.
even go there. Yeah.
You know, and I actually, and Ebony's probably gonna hate me for this, but she brought over a guy. We didn't have dinner. We were supposed to have dinner, but he had to go to band practice or something. She really likes this dude, and I asked him, I was like, man, you a virgin? Kind of looks at me like, and then looks at Ebony. He's like, no. Like, oh, okay. You know, I just wanted to know.
Yeah.
I want to know. I mean, because you never know. Like, I want to know where your mind is at when you look at my daughter.
Yeah.
Where is your head? Do you think that you're just going to come in here and, like, I'm just going to take advantage of this girl? Like, heck no. That's not going to happen. And I'm going to try my best to do what I can and let Ebony know, like, hey, don't believe everything men say. Like, guys, boys say. They can say, oh, you're just the prettiest thing in the world. Get that. They're only want one thing. I know. I was there. You know, and if I don't continue to do that, if I don't continue to pour out my heart into my daughter's life, there comes this boy that will. And then she's going to believe everything. So it's just
That what I just saw you explain and like that conversation, that story, that is a perfect picture of what God does with us, with His children. He's like, no, like, you know, he's like looking out for us, trying to protect us. No, that's not right. But in the end, to an extent, it's Ebony's choice.
yes,
It's our choice.
yeah.
God can send you warning signals, but it's your choice.
Yeah, and what's crazy, like you just made me think of stuff too, is you have, and not to say this kid's the devil or anything, but you have this kid, and you can picture him as like the serpent, speaking these sweet, sweet words.
Sounds enticing.
Sounds like,
good.
oh wow, like this.
Yeah, that could be
This
awesome.
boy loves me.
Mm.
No, you don't. Right. You have no idea what love is,
Right.
at all. So, yeah, man, like it's out there. It's out there, but like you said, it actually just comes down to your choice.
What's up, everybody? My name is Jeremy Duran, host of the No Holds Podcast. I just want to thank you all for tuning in. Follow us on social media, subscribe on YouTube. We are also on iTunes and Spotify. And remember, love is key. Peace.